Okay. Bro, we do this every time.
I don't know why. It's your
Cash rules all around me. Yeah, yeah. All this money around me. Yeah, yeah. Cash rules all around me.
Hey y'all, it's Dom.
and I'm Lex, and you're listening to On the BL. We're only gonna keep it real.
So we just gonna go ahead and get straight into it. I know a lot of y'all have been asking, where have y'all been? Y'all done dropped 3 fire episodes and then just went MIA.
Yup.
Life is the answer to that question. Things just gotten really, really hectic, which prompted us to ease into our topic for today, which is the hell and the struggles that you go through in your 20 somethings. Lexi and I are currently in the midst of it, um, and we're still learning how to juggle everything. And so, this is just really an opportunity for us to just let loose, talk about it, and hopefully our experiences and things that we're going through currently help some of you guys.
Yes, agreed. I guess the first thing I kind of want to talk about, and I feel like it's like the overarching thing about being in your 20 somethings is trying to navigate life and still trying to find out who you are, especially as a young woman, just figuring
Yeah,
out who Dom is, who Lexi is, and in the midst of that, struggling through whether that's jobs or college or relationships or trauma, which is something that we've both experienced it in different, just in different severities. But yeah, that's kind of the first thing I want to talk about.
yeah. So, what's been, you know, something for you that you've experienced? I mean, because just to clarify, it's not like Lexi and I are like 29 and we've
No,
learned everything about life. And we're, gonna hop into 30 already knowing what's going on. We are,
no,
we are,
ma'am.
my mama said all the time that I'm still wet behind the ears. Um, but I'm 22. Lexi has a birthday coming up. But she's still freshly 20 something like me.
Yes.
And so my question for you, Lexi, is what I don't want to dive deep into any of our traumatic experiences if we don't feel comfortable sharing.
Right.
Um, but what has been something so far since you've entered your 20s
Mm.
that's kind of completely just shifted your outlook on life and the way that you navigate?
Um, it would definitely have to be, for one, I guess a broader thing would be college, but more specifically, not necessarily traumatic, but there was just a trying time, and I learned a lot about myself. But in that, I also lost my grandmother, and that was kind of the first like close relative who I grew up with, who I learned a lot from, who I extremely and deeply loved. So that was definitely probably the hardest thing that I have endured in my 20s. I definitely, it was the first time that my faith was kind of questioned. I questioned my faith and almost lost my faith. And a lot of people don't know that, except for the people that like talk to every day, you included.
Mhm.
Dom actually experienced one of my very first like extreme anxiety attacks that I've ever had. It hasn't happened again since then. I've had minor ones where I kind of get short of breath or um, kind of get nauseous, things like that. But that was the first thing that really just had me question life. And then in the midst of that, I was also experiencing, I don't think it was the breakup that was necessarily the most traumatic thing, but just experiencing rejection and experiencing disappointment from people that you put your trust in, especially um, people who represent the church. And so that definitely had me kind of second guess about who I want to represent God and who He is. But yeah, just like I could really talk about that all day, but definitely losing my grandmother.
Yeah. So between thinking about those things and
Mm,
kind of who you were before and who you were during while you were going through those,
Mhm.
what has changed about you and how has your outlook on life changed?
I mean, for one, I think we can all agree to appreciate the people that we have in our lives and to kind of really stress the little things. And I don't mean stress as in like worry about them, but stress how important they are. Um, and I gained a lot of confidence in myself in that experience too, and what I had to offer and who I was, and um, just not just in relationships, but just in life in general, friendships. Um, and also being comfortable with the grieving process. My grandmother passed away around my birthday, so every year around my birthday, it's usually, and it's only the second year she's been gone. So it's usually a difficult time, especially on the day that she passed away, which was 4 days before my birthday. So obviously, they know that's something I won't forget. And then I got confident in who I am through God and who He is, right? So I had to take a step back and stop questioning everything that God does, because I was getting to some dark places and some thoughts that weren't mine, and some thoughts that were basically questioning, like, is God even real? Like, why would He do this to me? Why would He cause all this pain and things like that? So it caused me to go in the Bible for myself,
Right.
being one way to discover Him, but then also being comfortable, like just sitting in a quiet room and trying to find His voice. Yeah. But what is something for you that has kind of shifted who you are, that you experienced so far in your 20s?
Um, so like you, college is a big one. And we
Mm,
talked about it a lot in episode 2, I
two.
believe.
Mm-hmm.
Just with not really knowing what's next, not knowing, what to do after college, um, and then not graduating in the time that everyone's supposed to graduate from college.
Right.
It's something that really tested my patience and tested my faith. Um, Also, I wasn't quite 20 yet. I was 19, but I was finna turn 20. So at 19, I was sexually assaulted and dealing with that. And then recently, Lexi knows because I tell Lexi everything. My house was broken into. So a lot of my items, like personal information, social security
Mm,
information, and just a lot of things that I worked for to get myself were stolen. And so it's put me, girl, I'm not me finna cry. It's because naturally I'm just really, really not really trusting because I still side eye a lot of people, but
yeah.
I'm not used to navigating life always having to look over my
Right.
shoulder.
You expect
That's
the
just
best of people.
right. That's just not
Right.
how I operate. Now I don't put anything past anybody. Anybody's capable of any and everything.
True.
Um, but it's so easy to always think that it would never happen to you. And so that's one of the things that kind of came full circle for me, at least a lot more recently.
Mm,
Um, because, like a lot of young ladies in their 20s, when things traumatic happen, it's so easy to kind of think that's the end all be all and stay
yeah.
stuck in that space. Um, and so I hate those situations taught me that I hate the word. Like, I hate when people tell me I'm strong, it's not a compliment for me.
Mm,
And it's like, well, you've gone through all this and, you still, managed to accomplish all of these things. Um, but I feel like, why should I have to go through hell?
right.
And why should strong be my goal?
Mm,
Strength shouldn't be the end goal. I got resilience had it behind my ear. So that's, something personal for me. But like, I think that I learned that I don't always have to be okay. And
yeah.
so one of the things that the 20 somethings have taught me and is teaching me is that life does not stop when you are going through.
Nope.
You can't press pause, you can't hit a rewind button, you can't say, hey guy, can I get like a 10-minute timeout real quick?
Time out real
Life
quick.
right, because I just mentally I just cannot right now. And so that's
Right.
one of the hardest things about entering into adulthood and navigating it is
Mm,
that, in middle school and high school, they don't really teach you how to handle everything else that comes with life. Yeah, they prepare you for college, but they don't teach you how
they
to
don't teach
handle
you nothing.
things that happen with your family. They don't teach you how to, stay on top of your academics when you lose a loved one or when you go
Mm,
through these different traumatic experiences. And so it's something that I'm focused on and really learning now is trying to find not necessarily balance, because I don't think balance is realistic, but trying to find harmony within life. And
I like
so
that.
these days, I don't do anything unless it makes sense for me.
Mhm,
So if it's not something that I can learn from and grow from, and something that I can pour into someone else and have someone else pour into me, then I can't touch it because it
right.
serves no purpose for me.
Mhm,
And so that's one of the things that um, these 20 somethings is teaching me, and that have taught me. Also, understanding that I can't share my struggles and the things that I go through with everybody. Um,
yeah.
and that was really hard for me to wrap my mind around. I'm not transparent with everyone, but for people who I, hold close to me, who I consider friends and family, I expect to get that nurturing and, hey, Dominique, you can do this. Not necessarily
Mm,
kissing my butt, being realistic about what I'm going through, but
right.
also assist me in finding solutions. And not everybody is equipped with that. And
Mm-mm.
so learning that the hard way, because when my mine and my mother's home got broken into, the response that I received from loved ones was, hey, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Normal people don't steal.
It's
Normal, sane people don't break into other people's houses. That's just not what happens.
mm-mm.
And so learning that, I can't really share that with everybody. Not everybody's equipped enough to help me. Um, and so, yeah, but these 20 somethings are no joke.
Yeah. I was gonna say like something just kind of backtracking to not being able to talk to everybody about your struggles. One thing that I really learned, especially when I was going through with my grandmother, was that different people in your life serve different purposes. So a conversation that I may have with, a friend and a conversation have with my mother, I'm gonna get different things out of it. So the first thing that something that I have learned in my 20s is before I even seek out a conversation, what am I looking for? And if I'm looking for a solution, if I'm looking for comfort, if I'm looking for advice, am I going to get that out of this person? If the answer is no, then I'm not going to talk to them. Um, the three people that I really talked to a lot outside of like friends in college, when I was going through that difficult time was my godmother, my mom, and my grandma. And I talked to at least one of them every single day. Sometimes I just needed to be heard and to be comforted, so I called my grandma. I mean my godmother, because she was very good at like validating how I felt and finding ways to connect with how I felt, so I felt like it was genuine. Um, and I'm grateful. I'm not grateful that I lost my grandmother, but I'm grateful that I was able to through that difficult time and get through it because I got really close with those people that have been in my life forever.
Right.
But I was talking to them like every single day. My mom, I call her when I need like just straightforward advice, like just give it to me straight. Um, and realistic advice. And my grandma is the one, she gonna pull out the scriptures. Okay. She gonna tell me on what page of the Bible, what book, what chapter, and what verse every time.
Right.
So I know what to expect from each person. So that way, um, to kind of prevent that thing that can happen where sometimes, I don't maybe right now I don't need the scripture. Maybe right now I just need you to say it's gonna be okay. Right.
Right.
So yeah, I can relate with that a lot.
Yeah, that's really true. For me, it's kind of similar. I call my mom if I just like, look, just pray for me. I can't really go into detail about what I'm going through right now, but
Right.
if you just, when you pray, send one up for me too, um, with you and Sierra, which is crazy because I was thinking about it the other day. There's not much that I go through that I don't tell you about.
Mm.
And so I was like, yeah, Lexi's my girl. But I go to you and Sierra if I'm like, look, and Sierra doesn't cut corners, you know. Sierra will be like, look, I'm gonna just be honest with you. That was real dumb.
Yeah.
And it may make me mad, it may hurt my feelings, but it's real and it's raw. And
Yeah.
I take it because in essence, that's what I called you for, is to be honest with me.
Right.
And then, you know, I call my godmom when I'm like, look, I just need to talk. I'm just mad. And she's like, okay, well, tell me what's going on, and I'll talk to her. And her advice makes sense because we're not close in age. She's a lot older than me, but a lot of the things that I'm experiencing now, she's gone through. And so she's able to assist me in navigating, you know, what's next. And so I think that that's really important when navigating these 20 somethings, is finding a really good, rock solid support system.
Yeah.
Um,
That
because
is so
life is
true.
gonna throw any and everything at you. And I think I told you I was having a conversation with my therapist, and she said, "Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Your 20s are gonna be difficult.
Mm.
They're gonna be hell." And I was like, you know, that. Thank you so much. That was so comforting.
This is a
And
good
she was
therapy
like,
session.
"Yes, I feel so empowered. Wow." And she was like, "You know, I don't say that to scare you. I don't say that, you know, to make you feel bad or deter you, but your 20 somethings is all about tearing down that little girl in you and building up a strong woman." And I feel that now. Like, I feel
Mm.
who Dominique was at 18 and 19 is not who Dominique is right now at 22. And who
Yeah.
Dominique will be at 32, you know, is not the same woman that I am now.
Right.
And so I definitely feel like everything I'm going through right now has a purpose behind it. Do I understand every single one of them? Probably not. Like, I remember I told you a couple months ago, somebody rear-ended me and then like drove away. And so I was like, God, I really don't see the purpose in this one, but
Well,
but I'm gonna trust you.
right.
And so it's real. 20s is hard. And I knew mom was like, well, you wanted to be grown so bad. I never once in my life said I wanted to
This
be
is
grown.
ghetto. Okay.
Thank you. Very
This is
good.
ghetto.
Grown folks pay bills, grown folks have responsibilities. Um, but I feel slightly more prepared for life.
Mm.
And so it's good to know that, you know, through talking to you and a few of our other friends, that I'm not the only one who the 20s are giving the blues to. And so
Yeah.
it's definitely comforting.
And I think for me, like, one of the difficult things has been like, so we're not, you said you're not the same person that you was when you were 18, 19. So
Yeah.
we're not that, that young women. We're
Hmm.
still young women, but at the
Right.
same time, we're not in our 20s. And so, like, trying to balance between, like, I'm an adult now to also, like, I'm not trying to have kids and get married. But that's where
Right.
some people are. Like, so I don't know. It's just a
Mm,
weird space having that pressure of, like, I'm an adult, but, like, I'm not trying to pay mortgage. You know what I mean?
right. But I think that we should start normalizing it. I think, especially as young women, you know, a lot of people put that pressure that your end goal in life should be to be married and have
Mhm.
3, 4 kids.
Yeah.
Not everyone. If I say this as confidently as I know, if I never get married and never have children, I will be okay.
Mhm.
I have a niece and nephew who stay in my pockets. Like, it's fine. And I think that a lot more women should absorb. It's nothing wrong with wanting to get. Do I want to get married? Sure, I think it'll be cool. Do I want to
Yeah.
have kids? Sure, I think it'll be great. But my life is not centered around those things. I still want
Yeah.
to be successful. I still want to, you know, own my own business and companies and do this and do
Mhm.
that. My life is not centered around having those things.
Yeah.
And I think that
Mhm.
that should be okay, because at 22, gonna be 23 in December, I'm not trying to pay nobody mortgage. Mortgage is
Not at all.
expensive. And
Not
my
at
mama
all.
just had to put me on game as to how expensive it is. And the
Yeah.
waivers, depending on property tax, like, it's a whole lot that goes
But
into that.
that's what you see people talking about on social media. Not that I
Facts.
care about what people talk on social media, but subconsciously it does affect you. It does affect you because you feel like, okay, am I doing something wrong? Because how you got a ring already? How you got a
Right.
house? How
Right.
you don't had a man for the past
Right.
couple years? Like,
I just
so
see
it's
you with a
like,
Lamborghini. You got a
yeah,
French bulldog, them like 1,500. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, but a good point is ain't nobody gets on social media. Let me not say nobody, because I done ran into a few posts where people be like, I'm so depressed. Can somebody loan me $50? I done seen a couple posts like those. But nobody ultimately really gets on social media and shares every bad thing that they're going through.
I don't know though.
We see all the good stuff. We don't know what you had to do to get that ring or to get that apartment or to get that
Right.
French bulldog, because you probably, set up on payment plans for it. We don't know what you're going through to get it.
Shut up.
We just know that you got it.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think that at least with this new age of social media and technology, um, it's plagued young women, in our generation, because there are so many expectations attached to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you think, we think that at 23 we should have a house or an apartment and other things, because everybody who's 23 on Twitter and Instagram have one.
And when you young, 23 sound old. But it's really not that old.
Girl, when you young, 25 sound old. Like, it's like 25. That's halfway to 30. Like, for real. That's the only thing that goes through my mind. Like, for a long time, I'm like, dang, I'm 22 in 8 years. I'm gonna be 30. I ain't got that much time. Gotta get it together. So 8 years? Dang.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be married and have some kids in 8
Yeah.
years?
And a lot of at least for me, I know a lot of like past generation baby boomers, some of them got married young. A lot of people got married young,
Right.
especially in the Christian community.
Facts. My grandma got married young and had kids young.
My mom, I think she got married 24, 25. That's still young, 24.
Still young.
And had me. Mm-hmm.
But we just have, like, it's okay not to be in that space right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish if more people embrace that instead of, working themselves to death in order to be able to accomplish those things. I think that they would find a lot more peace in life. Because
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine how much you're missing out on because you're working on getting a $500,000 home in your
Yeah.
20s. And it's like you didn't even enjoy being 20 something. There's a lot of stuff that you're doing right now that you probably don't want to do in your 30s.
Yeah.
And so just learning to enjoy life. So, girl, life has just been giving us the blues. And it's crazy because, you said some of your family have been hitting you up asking where the next episode was. Some of my friends and family been hitting me up asking me where the episodes was.
Here it
And
is.
it's like, look, we've been going through it over here.
Yes. Yes.
We need to regroup.
Yeah. And I think, and that's why I tell you, this isn't anything for us to stress about. And I think our episodes are even better always whenever it's something we're going through. So I think everything happens for a reason. Do I think somebody broke into your house for a reason? I don't want to say there was a purpose in that. We don't know what the purpose is. But I think without understanding why something happens, you can find purpose in it. And so we can use, like, that's the goal of this podcast. It's just to use our experiences to hopefully uplift somebody out there.
Yeah. And one of the things I've learned, as crazy as I thought and kind of still feel like it is, I've forgiven whoever broke into our home. Like, whoever you are, you must have really needed whatever it is that you got.
Yeah.
And so I hope that you got what you needed and that God blesses you and helps you find some guidance, because you clearly need it.
Yes, you do.
And so it's provided me a lot more peace. Yeah.
I'm glad you have that, because I was worried about you.
Girl, I was worried about me too. Y'all, I didn't go to class last week. I didn't go to work last week, like, just mentally, because I was so stressed and anxious and depressed about everything. And I talked to you about it because it happens to you too. Like, sometimes when you're so tense and stressed about stuff, for me and Lexi, it manifests itself within us physically. So like last week, because I was going through everything, I just physically I felt sick. And I just couldn't, and I didn't want to put myself through any more added stress than what I needed.
Yeah.
And so that break last week really allowed me time to regroup and get myself together and get back into the swing of things.
Right. You got this.
Thanks.
Well, y'all.
Man, as you guys know, as we've shared throughout this, life is hard. And so we just want to encourage all of you who are watching and listening to stay encouraged, stay on the journey. Although you may not see it now, whatever you're going through has a reason and purpose. And I always encourage you to just look at, who you're going to become once you come out of whatever storm it is that you're in. But this has been another great in-depth conversation here on the DL with Dom and Lex. And remember that whatever you do, remember to keep it on the DL. Oh, that ain't the ending.
It's okay. I can't.
That
I
ain't the
can't.
ending.
I can't.
That ain't the
I'm
ending.
practicing.
That's a cute blooper. I'll put that in. We want you guys to remember to continue to walk in your truth, even if it's on the DL. We love you guys. And we promise not to stay gone too long.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.